The soccer title won't give Cork another championship as well. One of the most touching moments we've had in Sports Stadium, I can tell you. Brings tears to the eyes of a Cork man such as myself. But let us remind you, there are two teams in contention for the League of Ireland tomorrow, and going into last Wednesday's matches, this was the situation. Cork City led Dundalk by a point as they faced Shamrock Rovers in Turner's Cross, while Dundalk were at home to Galway United under the Oriel Park lights. And here's how those games went. We joined the match in Cork well into the second half.
By Caulfield. Armstrong, solid tackle by Tracy. Dave Barry back for Caulfield, in towards Morley, controls it on his chest, and the header off the crossbar by Dave Barry, and Connor scored! Well, it was off the crossbar initially by Dave Barry, and when the header came back out, it was planted into the back of the net, but the offside... Pooch. Vinnie Arkins. Oh, it's brilliantly turned back, and it's 1-0. And the referee has decided that the goal doesn't count, because I think quite correctly Arkins was out over the end line before he turned that ball back. Bitter disappointment for Shamrock Rovers. Just watch it again. Arkins, to my mind, was definitely out over the end line before he pulled the ball back, but Cork City breathed a mighty sigh of relief. Dave Barry. Oh, it's a good-looking cross. Gallagher, can he finish? Oh, and Morley's denied by the goalkeeping of Ford once more. Oh, it's taken off the line by the goalkeeper. One of the best chances of the match, and Morley shakes his head ruefully. Dundalk on the move once more. McNulty, Hanrahan! And that was the upright that saved Galway. Kavanagh, and now Hanrahan. And taken on by Kavanagh once more. Now it's with Everston. Want to tease the defence, and it's there! Peter Hanrahan! And the league's top scorer gets the goal in the dying seconds of the first half. Big cross from the right. The Galway defence seemed to lose it in mid-air, and there was Hanrahan to strike and claim his 17th goal of the season. Lally. And now it's with Tommy Cairns. And Cairns bundled over by a combination of Mackey and Lawler. And that's going to be a card for Martin Lawler. And he's off. Well, Martin Lawler A sensation at Dundalk has been sent from the field. Kavanagh. Round John Glynn with ease. Everston missed his kick. Malone. It's there! And once more! And the league's top scorer does it again. And what a tragedy for the Galway player-manager, Joey Malone.
And that's the situation going into tomorrow's last game of the season. After 32 matches, Dundalk and Cork City are locked together on 50 points. Both have qualified for Europe next season, and the league championship is on the line tomorrow. Cork's manager Noel O'Mahony was involved with Cork Hibs back in 1971 when the league last went to a playoff. That was in the days when Cork sides were very much to the fore, winning leagues and cups almost at will. Things haven't been quite so good in recent times, and it's taken 17 years for Cork to be this close. On the other hand, Dundalk won the league 3 years ago and have been consistently on the winners' rostrum in recent years. After Wednesday's games, both camps gave their views on tomorrow's showdown, and despite all they've achieved, Noel O'Mahony wasn't too happy after that game with Shamrock Rovers.
I was disappointed for the crowd, really, and I was disappointed for the players as well, may I add, because we played quite well in the night, and we just didn't get the break to stick one in, and I would have set the crowd off and given them a bit more to speak about. But that's football, and nevertheless, the result means that we're still there, and then, as we say, tomorrow's game is taking it to the wire, as somebody would say.
You'd have been celebrating on Wednesday had you won there, I think.
We would have been celebrating, all right, Joe. We would have had one goal would have been okay on Wednesday night, but it didn't happen. And then the players will have their chins up again, and we'll be firing on all cylinders tomorrow.
There'll be about 10, maybe 12,000 in Turlough Cross tomorrow afternoon. Will you be nervous?
Definitely. I think no matter how, or with big crowds, you're definitely nervous coming out, because like everybody has bad day, and you're just nervous that on the day that it really all depends that you won't have a good game. I think it happens to every player, no matter how long they're in the game, that they could leave their team down, you know. But the nerves go, and a lot of people are saying a lot of young players on our team now will the crowd affect them. But you really have to be out here, and if your concentration is right and the ball is kicked off, you don't really notice the crowd, you know.
At the start of the season, we struggled a bit, really. We were only getting bits and pieces here and there, but during the latter half of the season, we got a couple of goals, and the results have been going away, luckily enough, so we've got a couple of goals, yeah.
And you've had a particularly good run, the leading scorer with the club so far this season.
Yeah, I've been very lucky, seeming I've just been in the right place at the right time. Same was happening last year, but I wasn't putting them away, but I've just had a bit of luck this season.
We saw you against St. Pat's.
That's right, yeah. I've got actually 12 goals away from home and only 3 at home. Last year it was the other way around. I think it just comes in fits and starts, really.
And also you were in there to get a vital one against Athlone at a critical time in the season. Remember that one?
That's right, yeah. That was in about the last couple of minutes as well. See, we've had a bit of Houdini act in many of our games, and it's just been that throughout the season, really.
The Morley household, of course, has got 4 league medals already. Your father, Jackie, won them with Waterford. You remember the last one, 1972 against Hibs?
That's right. I was actually in the stand the same evening, or the same day, with my mother, and they were actually 2 down, I think, with 10 minutes to go and 10 men, and they came back and won 3-2. And I'll always remember the sort of atmosphere there from being supporting my father, but I always remember the Cork people that were sick the same evening, you know? So hopefully we won't have a repeat here on Sunday.
A nice 3-2 for Hale's head, and that's it! That is it!
What will it mean to you personally as manager of this team to go on and win the league?
I think I would be happier for the club and the players than I would for any great satisfaction I'd probably get myself. But then it's difficult because I haven't won one as a manager anyway. So, but I think it would be a nice feeling for everybody concerned with Cork City Football Club.
Well, if you win tomorrow night, you'll have a quiet point.
I would
Possibly 2.
nearly second that, John.
Turlough Dundalk have passed this way before, right down to the wire again.
Yes, one little difference, we're away from home this time. Last time at home to Pats, we did exceptionally well and we won the title at Oriel. Now we've got to go to I was going to say Flower Lodge, Turner's Cross, and win it all over again. But it should be a great day, great occasion, George.
Well, it has been an enjoyable season. The way things have gone, I've managed to knock in the goals, not so frequently in front of the cameras, although once or twice. It's been a good season. I've thoroughly enjoyed the time playing in Dundalk. Some very good players alongside me, and that has helped me in my game in every respect.
Still it's Peter Hanrahan. Support from Kavanagh. Hanrahan still there and scoring!
and a league campaign, there must be an awful lot of turning points. Any specific matches stand out for you?
Well, certainly the Derry match in Derry, we had a smashing goal by Tom McNulty, and there was the Shelburne match on the Friday night in Turlough Park, and I thought that we did a smashing job that particular night. But it's such a long haul that it's terrific that you're in with a shout with one match to go.
You mentioned Tom McNulty there. He scored some vital goals for you.
He has. Tom has been very consistent this year and has done marvellously well for us.
Another player I know that you would not want to leave out of all this is your goalkeeper, Alan O'Neill.
Alan, yes. Alan has a very proud record, which he attained in Derry when he reached the age 21 clean sheets, and on Wednesday it was 22, and it's a marvellous record. 32 games, 22 clean sheets.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough match. It's going to be very, very tight. Both defences probably on top, but these are the games to be involved in, and we've worked hard all season to get to this position. If we can go and do the business now on Sunday, we'll win the championship. If not, it's not been a bad season. We've qualified for Europe, so we're very pleased, and I was very pleased with the way we performed all season, and we'll give it a go.
I'm optimistic. I think it should be a very, very good game, and I think it'll be close, and it could go either ways, but hopefully it'll be a good game for the fans and a great day and a great occasion.
And you can see highlights of that crucial league decider on tomorrow night's sports special on Network 2 at 25 to 11 in a programme which will also have action from the semi-finals of the National Football League. That's on Network 2, remember, at 10:35. On this weekend, when Dundalk might clinch their 8th championship, how appropriate tomorrow's match will also be their 1500th game in the League of Ireland, a remarkable record from one of Ireland's best soccer clubs. A few weeks ago, the club held a reception to honour the heroes of former times, a chance for old friends to meet and reflect on moments of nostalgia. Nick Coffey, a Dundalk man himself, reports on the history of a great Irish sporting institution.
Dundalk is a railway town. From the 1860s, for almost 100 years, the great Northern Railway Works located here provided the town's industrial backbone. Its influence was all-pervasive, economically, socially, even in sport. The Great Northern Railway is long gone, but its most tangible legacy is still with us, Dundalk Football Club. And 2 weeks ago, former club players spanning 5 decades got together to celebrate the club's 1500th competitive league game, scheduled for tomorrow against Cork City at Turner's Cross.
This is the first minute book immediately after they entered the Free State League, as it was then called.
1926. I know you weren't actually there yourself. What were conditions like in terms of football then, in terms of players' wages, conditions?
Well,
crowds?
Crowds were really quite good. It would be nothing, I'd say, extraordinary to get 2,000 to 3,000 people at a match. Now, remember that most games were played on a Saturday afternoon at that stage. They were played in the athletic grounds, which was more or less a tied GAA ground in those days,
Dundalk itself, it grew out of the old Great Northern Railway Works.
Grew out of the old Great Northern Works. They had been playing in the Leinster League prior to that, and it was decided then in 26. They were having a good run in the Leinster League, and it was decided to go senior. And they made the application, and thankfully it was successful in those stages. By the way, Nick, an interesting point on that is that they have retained membership ever since that, unbroken. I think they're one of the oldest clubs with an unbroken record in the league.
For these former wearers of the famous lily white Dundalk jersey, it was a time to remember the triumphs and the defeats, the glory of cup and league successes, and the great teams that Dundalk has confronted.
Glasgow Celtic were after winning the cup in Scotland, and they came over to play. We got invited them over to play with a full cup team, and we beat them 2-1. I scored the winning goal, and John Smith set the first goal. That were after winning the cup, and we did them.
The football then was, to me, it was similar to the way Ireland played the other way. Kick her around, get on the shortest way to goal, and score a goal if you can.
I'm still mixed up in football, and FAI Junior Council and in my own league, and I loved the game. And it was great to come back here today. I'm delighted to meet Joey after 50 years, believe it or not.
He hasn't changed, has he?
Very little, and I'd still say Joey would still be able to take a few bob off me at cards.
When you come from English football to Free State football in that time, you know, it was a different brand of football. But myself, there's no comparison with the football now and the football that's being played today. Because I think the football being played today is far faster than what it was when we were playing.
Match day at Oriel Park, and for this generation of Dundalk fans, their attention focused on the game at hand. But for some old-timers, memories today of other games.
What was great for us that we had an almost local team. We had five or six. Anyone that came across the boy were local. And the sad thing about it is some of the great friends of that team, like Johnny Fern and Mary Clark, are dead now. And Walter Dawkin is in America. Kenneth Finn, no, he wasn't on the team. Jackie McCourt is in America. And when I won the cup medal with Dundalk, I thought this is the end of everything. And believe it or not, Nicky, if you ever won a cup medal, it's not as good as you thought it was going to be once you've achieved it, like, you know.
Joe, you played all your career. You're a Dundalk man, born and bred. You played right through from start to finish with your career. Your son Ali now plays in the north with Newry, but played with Dundalk. Your memories of that now, two generations of Ralphs that have played for Dundalk.
Yeah, well, we both have different memories, obviously. Like the one that'll always stick out with me is way back again Waterford and Milltown, the 6-4 match. I think
that was the semi-final of the 52 Cup.
The play in that match was something that nobody'd ever forget.
What are your memories of it then?
What are they? Oh dear. I think the worst part of it was, even though it was great celebration when it was over, the goal they got, first goal they got in extra time. We had our goalkeeper, Eddie McKenna. Eddie thought the ball was going wide and he stands looking at it. That's after coming from 3-1 behind into the extra time. But from that goal went in that day, we just ran riot. One of the best fullbacks that played in Ireland, Tom Fitzgerald, he was one of the Waterford players. And after the match, we were sitting outside on our bags, waiting on the taxis to come, and he was roaring and crying. He says it wasn't because they were beaten. He said it was to have taken part in the match. He says it was the best game he ever took part in.
You are remembered in a song about that 52 Cup final. You mentioned it. Do you remember that song? How does it go?
Oh, well, it was the one that went for the equalising goal in the cup final when it was 1-1. After the ball was centred, after the whistle blew, Ralph got excited and up the field he flew. He passed the ball to Martin and Martin potted through, and all the people shouted, "Come on, the white and blue." That was our colours that time, white and blue.
I have very happy memories of Dundalk. The committee here are very hard working, and the fellas, and the town is behind the side, like, you know, like in Dublin, like, it was only as locally Drumcondra are, like, but in Dundalk the town's behind the side, like in our provincial towns the town's behind the team, like, you know. In Dublin, like, it's spread out more. Supporters are more closer to the players also, I feel, you know.
I would say the friendliness of the people and the committee, and it still prevails, I think, here. We're often talking to Turlough at that, and the Dublin lads that play down here always have that sense of welcome. They always feel very welcome down here in Dundalk, and I'm very happy to be playing with Dundalk.
The first League of Ireland match I ever seen in my life, a man from Drogheda brought me down on the bus to see Dundalk playing, and there was another Drogheda man playing at that time, Paddy Gavin. He went to Doncaster, and from that first match I seen Dundalk playing in Oriel Park. I said I'd always play with Dundalk, and my dream came true, you know.
You were captain of the 58 team, of course, Shay. What's it like to be back in Dundalk after all those years?
Well, I've been up here fairly often since, like, you know, different games. So I never lost touch of the place, really.
What's your memories of that 58 Cup team?
And the ball hit the back of the net.
Well, I mean, you were the out-and-out underdogs, complete outsiders, a great Rovers team, and yet you pulled it off. You beat them 1-0.
I didn't think we were underdogs. As a matter of fact, I never felt more confident in winning the cup at that particular time. That year we beat Rovers 3 times in that season by the same score. Like, we had a very experienced team, and no one seemed to realise that. I think we had 6 inter-league players on that side.
A monument in North Belfast commemorates the victims of the area's violence. To an inquiry from the casual passer-by regarding the name J. Hasty, the reply might be, oh, he was a footballer. He had only one arm. But in Dundalk, Jimmy Hasty was, and still is for many people, a legend. But early one morning at 7:30 in the 1970s, his playing days long behind him, Jimmy Hasty was shot dead on his way to work, a victim of a random sectarian murder. But for all those Dundalk supporters who remember him as their centre forward 30-odd years ago, Jimmy Hasty was not just the most remarkable player ever to pull on a Dundalk shirt, but really the most remarkable player ever seen in the League of Ireland.
I'll admit, I cried the day that I heard the man was killed. And that affected me very badly for a long time. Because, as you say, I was the baby at the side in very many ways. And he was a character. He was an enormous character. He was larger than life. And as a young person, he was someone that you as a caricature, like, he impressed everyone. He was a great character, a man who was never held down in terms of his spirit. I recall people asked me afterwards about him, would I have noticed his arm or whatever. That was never a hindrance to him, in the sense that he played, he was active, he was a marvellous man. He was the funniest man, by the way, I think I ever met, by the way. It was his sense of humour, maybe, that kept him going. Great goal scorer.
Well, I used to take him home and he'd get his travelling expenses. Still, he'd say he'd booked into the Lone Hotel and I'd take him home to our house. So we'd have to go to 6:30 Mass on a Sunday morning and Jimmy would have to shave. So he'd just get the one hand and shave like that and he'd be finished twice as quick as me. My memory of him playing poker would be that he could deal the cards out with the one hand and take a 10-pence piece off the top of everyone's pile as he went along. He'd have a handful of money as he finished.
The gate soared from he came because people came initially, I suppose, to see the one-armed centre forward, but he soon won them over. The arm meant nothing. It was his football ability that really won the people over.
I can remember his very first match. The gate was somewhere in the region of £200. His second match, the gate was £1,000. And that was a lot of money, Nicky, in those days. Like, I mean, £1,000 was a lot of money.
He has a special quality.
He has a special
memory.
Quality, and he has a special affection in everybody's memory. I mean, my memory of Jimmy Hasty is this, that I had a young family at home, now young boys. Now, they used to go out and play football, and it was an argument, really, who was going to pull the jersey up to play with the one arm, that everybody wanted to play Hasty. You know what I mean? He was the be-all and end-all.
And so to the modern era. For Dundalk and their supporters, success is all important. Almost without exception, everyone in this community identifies with the club.
Well, I think it's very important to have a good side in the town and that. And the one thing everybody's moaning about, I think over the years, like, I think the people in Dundalk have got sort of blasé about we won again, like we won the league and we won the double, and you know, so what?
Expect nothing but the best.
Yeah, and then it gets spoiled. I think make it verify, like in McLaughlin's era, won cups and leagues, and then I think which was more important, which maybe the boys wouldn't remember, like we were playing teams in Europe and we were expecting to beat them. Whereas before, like, you hold them to 4 goals or something, that's a great result. We went into Europe and they sort of went a step forward. The locals were expecting us to beat them.
I was fortunate enough to come to Dundalk and to be in Dundalk in what I would consider to be a golden era for football in Dundalk, in the sense that we went through European competition for, I think, about 6-7 seasons unbeaten, and we played some of the great teams in Europe, like Porto and PSV Eindhoven and Glasgow Celtic, and I mean, some great teams we played, and it was a golden era in Dundalk's football history, and it has set very, very high standards, and people's expectations are very, very high. I'm not saying those days will never happen again, but certainly it was a golden era when I was in Dundalk. I can recall winning competitions with Dundalk and coming back and the streets lined with people from 2 miles out. You just don't get that in Dublin, and certainly when you were with Shamrock Rovers there was the expectancy to do it, so there wasn't as much excitement or hype attached to it, and certainly in Dundalk it was a sense of occasion about winning things all the time, and tremendous, absolutely great memories, Nick.
A couple of great memories that I have, Mick, of you scoring against Spurs in the European Cup, and a wonderful goal in the Cup final against Sligo Rovers. Your memories of those 2 goals?
Well, yeah, they're 2 special moments for me in the time that I was here. There's a lot of other special moments as well, but particularly those 2. I mean, the Cup final, I remember it was a windy day, and there was a long ball knocked up, and I just turned and ran on and luckily stuck it in the net. But the goal against Spurs, I think, was very special for me too.
65 years on as a senior club and going stronger than ever. Now everyone thinks their club is special, but up in Dundalk they reckon they're extra special.
I love Dundalk. Anytime I go, I have a sister living in England, and anytime I land at Manchester Airport, I say, what the hell am I doing here? I want to be home. I want to be home. I love Dundalk, just like yourself, mate.
And it's great for a day like this to bring back a bit of the nostalgia and see some of the old faces, you know. It's really good.
We like to be better than the next, both on and off the pitch. We like to be, if not the best, one of the best.
Nick Coffey was the reporter there on the occasion of Dundalk's 1500th League of Ireland match, which just happens to be tomorrow in that championship decider at Turner's Cross against Cork City. There are other games on tomorrow, so let's now take a look at the fixture.